All right, welcome back to Disc Golf Shenanigans.
Today, we're talking about tournaments.
We've asked a few disc golfers for their best tournament tips.
So we're going to go through those, take you through everything you need to know for your first tournament. Roll the tunes. So before we actually get to Robbie C and Ohn Scoggins, the first thing you need to do is actually sign up for the tournament itself.
Right, so you can go ahead and find all the tournaments on the PGA website, or Disc Golf Scene is another useful one.
Mm-hmm. You now need to pick a division. For beginners, you're probably going to start in MA4.
So the main divisions range from MA4 right up to MPO. So we've got age-protected divisions, so we've got juniors and we've got masters, so MA40, MA50, etc. And female-protected divisions for
the ladies.
So you could enter whatever one you want, but if you want to be competitive, we recommend going for your lowest division you can play.
So you've signed up for your first tournament. Now we need to start getting into tournament prep.
This brings us on to our first few tips, starting off with ocean discs. Now they did send us a bit of an essay, but they do make some good points, so we'll keep coming back to them.
We appreciate that, ocean discs. So their first tip is to keep yourself fed and watered. You need enough water to get yourself over the 2 rounds, and you need enough food, so you want lunch and you want some snacks for the middle of the round.
Pretty good advice. Let's get on to Amsai Rob's next tip. He's got a video for us.
What's up, Shenanigang? Rob here from the Amsai podcast. My all-time tournament tip is a pair of these. Waterproof socks. I've got sealskins, other brands are available. It doesn't matter how much you spend on fancy waterproof shoes. There's a big hole in the top that your foot goes in. Your feet are always going to get wet. With these things, bone dry feet, cozy all day, don't have to worry about wet feet mid-round. They are a must-have. So that's my tip. Go get some.
Oh, a great tip from Rob there. I can't explain how miserable your round is if you've got wet feet.
Oh yeah.
But the best thing to come out of that is Shenanigang. Oh, inspired, Rob.
Right, next up we got a lefty pro who's not been on the channel yet, but maybe soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
So his tip is brilliant. So the tip is basically go do your research on the course, then get out in the field and practice those lines with the disc, with the same distance.
Oh, that's cool. So sort of making a game plan.
Making a game plan, yeah.
Very similar to what sort of Ocean Discs was adding in one of theirs. And for our final tournament prep tip, we have the #1 rated player in the UK, Noah Smithson, and he said his tip was to simulate competition as best as possible in practice. So warming up similarly, going through the pre-shot routines and having just one attempt at each shot, rather than having the mulligans and breakfast throws that we all have in our videos.
That's why he takes so long in putting. So the day has come, this tournament day. So the first thing you gotta do is sign in.
Okay, so after you've signed in, there's probably going to be a player meeting that's got a load of information. That information can also be found in the caddy book. After that, let's do some warm-ups. So warm-up stretches, the putting, you might be able to even throw a few holes, but just make sure you get to your tee 5 minutes before tee off.
Right, quick tip for you here. Your last few putts before your round, get nice and close to the basket, make sure you make them. Good for the mind.
And the soul.
And the soul. So 2 minutes before the start of the round, there's a warning.
2 minutes!
Yeah, just like that. You're not allowed to do any more throws, you're not allowed to do any more practice. You just gotta wait. And once you're doing that, you can get your PDGA up, set up, ready for the round.
Okay, the next thing to do is start the round. So there'll usually be a horn or a bell, or someone might just shout, start. So this is my first hole of the tournament, and I got double bogey.
Well, that takes us on quite nicely to Own's tip. All that mindset. So Own's tip is basically you got nothing to lose. So keep yourself relaxed. If you win, it's positive. If it doesn't go so well, it doesn't matter. Just like Connor.
And following on from Own's tip, got Elva and Ben Holding with just have fun, just enjoy it. Really what we're here for. We enjoy playing disc golf, and
if you're not having fun, is it really disc golf?
Yeah, so that's something I forgot on hole 1 and really needed to get into my mind for hole 2.
So you've played a few holes and you're mid-rounds.
Let's get a tip from Robbie C.
Howdy, y'all. I would say for me, my favorite tournament tip is to tell people to lean in, know your game, and stick to your game plan. When you're playing tournaments, especially if you're newer to tournaments, even people that have been playing a lot of tournaments, it can be very tempting because the pressure's high and things like that, that you're going to see people throw a shot on a tee box and you're like, wow, I've never really thought about that before. Stick with your game plan, stick with what works for you. The highest percentage shot for you is probably not the same highest percentage shot for someone else. So it's all about playing your percentages as best you can. The higher percentage shots you play, the better you're going to find your success out there. Those high percentage shots overcome nerves every day of the week. So yeah, that would be my big thing, is lean into your game and throw your high percentage shots and don't pay attention to what other people are doing.
Thank you so much, Robbie, for sending that in. You don't know how much that means to us. Big fans.
Funnily enough, Thomas also put the same thing.
Thomas.
Right, let's get into some different scenarios that you may experience in your tournament. Starting off with out of bounds, or OB.
Yeah, going OB sucks.
So, before you go get it, you need to mark your lie.
If you've gone OB, you and your card mates need to decide where your disc has crossed the out of bounds line, and that is where you take your lie from.
More or less, then you get to take yourself a meter relief back into the course, put your mini down.
On your course, you might have casual relief in some areas. This is an area you can't really play from, but you're allowed to. In this situation, a massive pile of logs. So they've given logs as casual relief. I'm allowed to take it to its nearest playable area behind the lie or in line with the basket backwards.
So another thing that comes up all the time is the time you have to take your shot. Whether that's throwing, putting, you got 30 seconds. And that seems like not a lot, but it's plenty of time. Unless you need cannon, but...
Yep, so use the full 30 seconds if you need to. Take a deep breath and take your shot. Right, a strange scenario now that doesn't happen all the time is when two discs land on top of each other. Well, no one gets any penalty strokes or anything, but the person on top, if you put your mini down first, and then the person underneath or behind can also then put their mini down, and everyone can take their shots in the correct order.
So you finish your first round, and it's usually lunchtime. This brings us on nicely to another tip by Ocean Discs. Eat with your offhand. So if you're right-handed, that's your left hand.
I never thought about this. Obviously, if you're eating something potentially greasy or a sandwich, and it's going to affect how you throw a disc.
Oh, it does.
Never thought about that
myself.
Thank you very much. Right, time for a Connor tip. Learning when to take your medicine. So laying up just to take the bogey. It's not amazing, but it's not a double bogey like we started with.
Oh yeah. So another tip for you is capitalise on momentum. So in the tournament, I had a triple bogey, which is a bit of a bummer to be honest.
Yeah.
But I followed it up straight away with an ace.
Phenomenal ace.
It was a pretty wild ace. But that lifts you up. Even getting a birdie, ride the momentum into your next hole. Funnily enough as well, it was also a spot prize, so I got longest putt.
Good point. We haven't mentioned spot prizes. So spot prizes are something that a tournament director will put occasionally throughout the course. It might be closest to pin, longest drive, longest putt. I think yours was longest putt.
I think it was longest putt, which obviously from the tee pad is pretty long.
That's hilarious. I also got a spot prize here for CTP. It's not as impressive as an ace, but make sure you write your name down, the time that it happened, and you place the spot exactly where your disc was as shown in the video. Okay, so we've finished both rounds. And no matter how well or bad you've done, there'll always be an award ceremony and presentations. So for this, the tournament director will give out prizes for each division. He'll also give out the spot prizes, which you can see me and Tim very happily taking home with us. We didn't get the win, but we both did get a spot prize, so it's big up for Disc Golf Shenanigans.
I got the ace pot as well.
But so did Harry Messenger, so you had to half that prize money with him.
Well, we did win MPO, so I guess that's
true.
That's understandable.
That's true.
So final tip for you is from the one and only James Bond, probably one of our biggest fans.
And we are his biggest fan.
So his tip is basically talk to everyone, make friends, and just have a good time, because that's what this was.
Funnily enough, that's how we met.
It is, yeah.
Tim and I met at a tournament when I beat him in MA4 and took the win from him, and then we became friends and we started making a disc golf channel. So who knows?
So that takes us to the end of the video.
This should give you a great start and hopefully give you some confidence to be able to play your first tournament. Sign up, take some mates with you. Got a little squad. It's quite fun to go out with.
And one last thing. If you remember, James Bond suggested Shenanifam for all our viewers.
I suppose is what Amside Rob said. Shenanigang.
Shenanigang, yeah. So get in the comments and we want you to vote for what we call you viewers.
Like and subscribe.
Until next time.
Bye.
PDGA
PDGA app.